Good morning, everybody. Today is a future pop day. I don't know, I just work here. All right, on our docket today is Airship 27. Let's get to it. All right. It is. Oh, I love your name. It's Strudel Does Noodles. I think I've loved your name every time you've been here. It's like, oh, I love that name. All right, let's get ourselves to work here. That's just awesome. It's a great name. Make sure we're on the right page here. All right, correct side. So when you do the shadow work here, I'm kind of looking around this and thinking he's going to be backlit a little bit. So we're going to go all the way to here, and like this, and then all the way down into this pocket. And all we're doing here is just putting in the basic forms, right? We know that these are our basic sort of starting forms for all of the shadows here. So I'm going to do that. And this just gives the picture just a little bit of depth that we're working on here. We're going to probably have to put in more of a line in this point at some point here to give a little bit more form in here to that, but we won't need to do that yet. That's not a part of this picture we need to worry about yet. And then we're going to heading below here, we've got the pockets are going to come out in kind of this interesting sort of design where it's got just sort of have some of this be the highlight of the pocket coming out like this. So there we go. All I'm doing here is just giving basic forms. There we go. Leaving an open side here. We'll come back in and fix a lot of this if we need to, which is fine. We have this darker color right here, which we'll get into it at some point, not at the moment. There's no darker color for the skin or for the shirt, so I'm going to come in here just. Of course, he's like heroic, so epic bod here going for him. He's our hero. All right. Just getting underside here of the shirt. There we go. epic or not, he's probably got some kind of you just want to kind of make sure. I don't know where I was going with that. I was headed somewhere, and then my train of thought was never left the station. You know. So I want to just give some of this a form here. Give just the idea of wrinkles happening here. And these are just our basic forms, right? So that still looks pretty good and pretty solid. Basic forms there like that. I heard something. Yes, somebody tried to send me a post on Instagram and Facebook deleted it. That's cute. Not sure what they were trying to send me. But it does kind of look like a post of, hi, how are you? Which, then I'm like, well, I guess Facebook doesn't allow you to say that anymore. I think Facebook's having some real problems figuring out what they're doing with their lives. Looking for the folds in here. I'm going to do this. And all I'm trying to do here is just kind of make this so that it's clear what's going on here. Right, we're defining the forms that are inside this. Which includes this form right there. We're just bringing this up. I have been intimidated by him for a long time on this cover because it's hard. I'm responsible for the cover of this book, and you've got to attract attention and make people pick up the book. You want the book. This isn't my book. I like the noises. Okay. I'm like 12, man. I'm just saying. I have the maturity of a 12-year-old. Somehow, somewhere, people keep giving me kids to teach for reasons. I don't know. It's all right. The kids are fine with it. The kids don't mind. They're like, hey, the teacher's actually less mature than me. Excellent. The kids don't care. I'm like, you. I am less mature than you. It's okay. You usually get a chuckle out of me. Also, though, I mean, realistically, part of my secret to keeping class control, because I have excellent class control. And it's because here's the secret to dealing with teenagers. A, treat them as equals and with respect, and they will treat you with respect. B, when they start to lose that respect, instead of yelling at them, you say, "Oh man, I'm going to lose respect for you." That really makes them think, "Oh, wait a minute." Also known for going in and saying, "I am less mature than all of you guys, so, these jokes are going to be funny. I'm going to giggle stupidly." And then whenever they misbehave, I'm like, "Hey, I'm behaving better than you." And that's like, ooh, yeah, that's not good. There we go. Now, We have to put a letter out there in the background. And I'm not hot on that idea. I don't really have a good picture of Aletta in profile, do I? That's aggravating. I don't think I used an actual character. Nope. I guess we don't have a choice, do we? Okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to bring in just right now, it's just super creepy. It's fine. Not that way, though. Like, what are you doing with this? I'm like, I have no earthly idea. This is why we're doing it this way. I'm just saying. No clue. I don't know what I'm doing. I really just don't know. I don't know at all. Oh, okay. Yeah, you can't do that. All right, we're gonna have to come in here with a. I'm bringing in a white line because of the nature of this. This we're going to have to do it in a kind of a different way. I'm gonna come in with this white line out here. We're just going to not be able to see anything. Let's not do that. I think this is clever in my head. Then I actually pull it off, and I'm like, well, that was stupid. You know, Studio Ghibli. She had a button nose, so we're gonna have to alter the nose a little. Pray we do not alter it further. Right? And because she was Pacific Islander, she had a different shape to her eyes, right? lips. Right. Now we can get rid of the dummy. Right, because now we've got pretty much enough of this to be able to draw on the wrong layer. We have enough of this to draw on the incorrect layer. Now I drew her eyelids down a bit, so I'm going to lid her eyes like this too. Lid her eyes. She's looking further down now. It's being sad. She's an island girl, so I've been trying to change her anatomy to fit. You know, I'm going to have just like her entire face here, so I'm going to give her coloring. I'm going and fix this so we've got her coloring sort of doing it, and we can kind of work with it at this point. That's a lot of red. No, you know what we need to do though? If you're going to do this, do this. You're not going to get any of that cleared out until you do this. Their eyes are so brown that they're almost black. Right? One of the best things about doing this particular job is I would never want to do this actively. It would never have occurred to me to do this. And so this is a design that even when Ron said it to me, I was like, okay, are we sure we want to do that? And you know what? Because I'm doing it for him, I don't question it. I just do it. And the best part about that is I am learning how to do these things, and it's stretching me. It's pushing me further than I would have been willing to go or even thought to go at the time. Right? I wouldn't have thought of this. Right? And so I love that part. That's the part that's interesting about doing these jobs. I know that I'm getting a penny or two from each sale, and then they're having a small run sale that usually is a total of 12 or 13 cents that I'm ever going to earn from this. I get that. And people ask me, why would you do it if you're not going to get paid? And of course, there's two answers to that. Answer number one is we artists are already understanding that odds are very, very good we're not going to get paid. We know that already. We never get paid. We're expected to do work and get paid. That's the expectation in our culture, and we just gotten used to it. It's actually something that's interesting. I just said something like this on Reddit not more than a few hours ago. Because the reality is we're not going to get paid. We aren't expected to get paid. Everybody intentionally runs the system so that artists must do the work first and get paid later if we decide that that's okay, but only if your employer decides that it's all right. And we do have a system by which if you do not pay, it is inappropriate and illegal to okay, now I'm going to take the big skin brush here. I come along here. Just come on this outside. And yeah, I mean, it's not fair. And many artists are very angry, rightfully so, about it. They're not wrong. One could say, well, Guy, are you mad about it too? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I'm mad about it I'm only mad about it when the bills come due. You know what I mean? Without all of the effects, boy, it just looks like he's just staring at this big head that's just floating over the ocean up there. So there was this big floating head the other day, and it's kind of strange, but we get there. Okay, so secret to lips. It's usually on the color wheel. Rotated just slightly from wherever you were on the skin tone to the red. And this actually may have been too much. Because here is the skin tone, and that's where we want to go with this guy. Right? This is her natural lip color. It wouldn't be whatever she wears with lip gloss or whatever. It wouldn't be what's going on there. So we'll do that. Then we take her skin tone. And the thing about doing tones is you want to make sure you go in a diagonal. Don't go this way or this way. You want to go in a 45-degree diagonal for shadows. So we pull to this direction like so. And that gives us our shadow tone. give her face is round. So we're going to come around like this. Like I said, she's a Pacific Islander. So we've got a very round Tongan face to give her. But even with that, you still have this, the maxilla bone right through here, the occipital bone, which is right by your head. So we're going to bring that around as well. The dummy we used for this didn't have, the ear is right here. So I don't need to worry too much about where I am on this without getting into the ears and stuff like that. So I also have this color, which then I can bring back across here. Her bridge, the bridge of her nose is wide and flat, right? Talking about just the design elements that we have here, right? So we're going to go on ahead and just put a little bit of shine here to give an idea of her cheek, where her cheek is. Right, and give the line through here, goes like so, and the line goes like so, and then a line goes like so, and this is just giving just a little bit of light to the front of the face. Okay. We're just lining up this whole thing. Right? But be careful with this eye because it's rounded, right? When we looked at the model, the model itself was a realistic model, was a cartoonistic model, not a realistic model. So the eyes didn't have form on either side. Eyes pop a little bit forward on things. That's totally fine, man. I'm glad you're here for a few minutes. I can show you that I'm doing work for Airship 27. So that you won't go, are you doing work for Airship 27? Yes. And then the question is, are we doing work for George? George work. Yeah, George work, come here. Don't be a weirdo. Come here. You're being a weirdo. Come here. If you wish to have scritches, you must come to the scritchy machine. You must come to the scritchy machine. You want scritches? Come here. Come here. Behold the scritchy machine. There we go. Right? It's a thing. It's important. The scritchy machine. I have to take a George break. And scritch George. George requires scritches halfway through the show all the time. This is a George break. Had this been a real emergency, the Georges you would have seen would probably have been followed by many other Georges just like it. All high emergencies are usually planar incursions, so it's the things that happen when you least expect it. Right, George? Right, George? You're such a cat. He's like all purry. There we go. Oh, sorry. Punched him in the face. And George has been part of this show since pretty much the beginning. And used to have a me segment that was just me, nobody else, called Coffee with Guy and sometimes George. And George would just hang and be, George, like he's doing right now. Just hanging out, enjoying the world. Enjoying being scritched. I don't know. What do you see over there? I don't see anything. We have been plagued by moths. So there's been a zillion moths in here. So it's been a regular field day for this guy. He's been having so much fun with all the moths. We've been finding dead moths all over the place. Right? You're like, I'm the mighty hunter. I am such a mighty hunter. I am so mighty. I live for scritches. I'm a mighty hunter. Okay, I gotta get back to work. You okay with letting me get back to work? You're like, maybe. Or maybe I'll just let you hold me forever. And no, you're gonna look my you're gonna look my nose, okay. All right, back to work for us. Yeah, I love you too. Nope. This color. There we go. When my sister was little, she used to call eyebrows eyebrows. And I was like, well, I mean, she's not wrong. Legitimately, she's not wrong. That'll tell me a lot more of what's going on and whether I did exactly what I did. Yeah. Okay. One of those things where I wonder if anybody will ever go back someday and rewatch all of these. videos that I have made. Every so often I think about that. I was like, I told stories of my sister, I've told stories of my family. There's actually like family information in here, which is kind of weird. I thought this would be the source of family information. You don't think about that, really. Okay, so I'm taking my Painterly blender. I really like this Painterly blender tool, which is a tool that comes in Clip Studio, because it allows me to get a nice blend in here that looks like it's done by a toothbrush. And of course, sort of in a way it is, right? Just come in here and just mix this up real quick. Right, just kind of going in here and just flushing it out. Okay. Making sure that everything is all nice and mixed in. And this is going to have to be sort of blended in as well. It needs to be just a little less rough. Right. This is the underside of her eyebrow. Right? So we're going to go through here. We're going to come in this bottom part of the bottom part of the nose. This part right here. Across the back of that here. Since this is a painting, I've got to get rid of all of my guidelines in some way. And the reason I use the brown for it is because doing brown for ink lines means that any which way you get to the edge of a surface, you already have sort of a black outline if you need it that you can blend in at any point. She needs to still be darker. Do a B and C adjust. The B and C adjust gives me a lot more drama in these colors, but it also drops the color palette down. So if you look at him, he's going to be ruddy, he's got blue, he's got some red, a little bit of yellow in his skin. That makes him ruddy looking. For her, she doesn't have the melanin in her skin is going to change dynamically the way that her face comes across. So we want to make sure that and I'm just messing this up real good so that it's nice and painterly and follows the contours of her face, right? Remember how I said she's got a round face. So we want to be conscientious here of this curve, especially right there, because that's the part that makes her face look like her cheeks are kind of pudgy and puffy, which is what you get when you're Pacific Islander. The Pacific Islander people evolutionarily developed all of the traits of fishing culture. The epicanthric fold, which is that secondary fold over the eyes, is to protect your eyes from sea spray. Sea spray is pretty caustic and pretty nasty. And so your eyes need extra protection and sunlight, which is actually what you get, reflected sunlight off of the water. So the epicanthric fold is designed to protect your eyes and give it a little bit more protection. The interesting thing is, if you see sailors, even if they are Caucasian, they will develop the epicanthric fold on their eyes because they spent so much time. My wife's dad is like that. It's fascinating. He's got the epicanthric folds in his eyes. And it's because he was a sailor all of his life. He spent so much time on the water that ultimately he got the folds in his eyes that you see in Asians and different cultures like that, especially water cultures. The upper jawbone, having this high jawbone right up here, is has a lot more to do with the nature of how we combat each other, I believe. That'd be my thought. And therefore, those of us that are like Caucasian, we actually have a rougher brow bridge and a thicker chin. But the wider nose is definitely to gather more air. That's certainly one of the things that wider nose is for. So it's designed to get more air. And the passageways are very flat up here. The nasal passageways are flat. That flattening helps with air passaging and stuff like that. But really, it's just counter to the Caucasian nose, which is very narrow. Our nose is very narrow, and the Caucasian, to keep the cold air, to warm it up, it's designed to warm up the air that goes into our nose. So it's not that necessarily that Asians have a weird nose. It's actually that the Caucasians have a weird nose. Asians actually still have very much like the black cultures with the flatter, wider nose, because that's what we should be doing, is taking in that much air that way. Caucasians, though, live in cold climates where the air needs to be warmed up. So in reality, they have just a normal nose. It's not that they have the weird nose, we have the weird nose. They have a normal nose. So that's how it works. It's supposed to be wide. That's supposed to be what it's supposed to do. That is the design. Eyelashes also always work to protect all kinds of things. Right? Yes, you're a fluffy butt. Yes, you. You've always been a fluffy butt. I'm fascinated by the way people are. What really fascinates me more than anything is all of these differences, all of these changes between one type of person and another in this culture, and the skin types and all of these modifications to our bodies happen faster than the modification to our brains. So our brains are all the same, each and every one of us. All of these differences, they affect nothing. Moreover, they mean nothing now. I could just as easily be a fisherman as someone in Asia. Anything can happen now. We are all over everywhere. And that fascinates me. I think all human beings are beautiful, though. I mean, I guess that's a given. I'm an artist, but I just love the differences that we all have. And I think mostly because it doesn't matter. None of it matters, right? I mean, we are all just who we are. It doesn't even matter what country we're from. Who we are, and that's just cool. And physical differences fascinate me. Have always fascinated me. But I think I owe that one straight to my weird mom. My mom was weird in that. And I'm not saying she was weird, just weird in society's sort of concepts of where you are in life. Because she loved differences. She loved people who were different. She loved asking questions about their cultures, about their lives, about who they were. Constantly asking, genuinely interested, wanted to know everything she could find out about the world, other people, cultures, and that rubbed off on me. I am genuinely interested in people. I just think it's cool. I assume that we all work together and everything is fine, and the differences are nothing more than just academic. And I think that's just one of those things that, like I said, I chalk that up to my mom, who is an interesting individual. Interesting things with the world. When you get into the scalia of the eyes, scalia, or whatever we call this, I'm going to be very gentle with it. Because it's too easy to go in here and really screw stuff up. Right? So don't drift too far down into this level. All right. I'm moving really close here. In here with this painterly blender, and I want to get it really small, right? I'm going to get here. So I do want to shape this a little, like so. But it doesn't have to be as, it's going to be far away, and So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take my G pen, right? I'm going to go all the way up into white. And I'm just going to tap. This is a water line. The water line is going to make, I mean, we assume it's just she has water in the bottom of her eye. Like we do, we all do, because there's a little bit of a line of water that forms right at the bottom of our eye. Right, so we're going to take a little bit of this and we're just going to run right next to it like this. And that gives it just a little bit of a feeling of 3D-ness, and it's a little, not quite just all white. Just giving it a little bit of feel of something else going on. We don't need a lot. Okay. Now we look at what we did with her hair. Her hair is just a black mat around her. So I'm not going to worry too much about that because there really won't be a whole lot we'll be able to see. Because a lot of this detail and the work that we're putting in here is going to all disappear because she's going to be in the background disappearing-ish, right? So I don't need to worry a whole lot about this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a line underneath it, right? So that we can just do this. Right? And that will give us just a black mat behind her head, right? We'll need to go back through, and now that we've gotten this black mat behind her, which represents her hair, now we can see a little bit more of what needs to be highlighted through here to make it clear of what's going on. So I'm going to go back through now on the face layer, and we're going to just highlight in on her eyelashes. Hair, especially the coarse hair, the very, very coarse hair, will always have a reflection. And now her eye gets a little bit of a reflection as well over here. So you can see it. That's why. So when you do lighting setups, when we do lighting setups, say for all of our people and stuff like that, when we do lighting setups, one of the things we will do is what's called a hair light. And this is that hair light. That's what we're representing. It's that hair light. And it's called a hair light for exactly this reason. As you can see what we've got going on here. When we light my subject, in this case her, I'm lighting her with need to not make her look flat. So naturally, I would put a hair light on this side to illuminate her eyelashes, her eyeball, things like that, so that this side of her doesn't vanish. If you don't do this, what you end up with is she vanishes. This side of her just kind of becomes flat. And lighting artists know that. Whoa. Right, so the lighting artists are going to go through here right? So your lighting artists are going to see, because of the nature of her black hair, they're going to see that they have an edge that they're not going to be able to see very well unless they do something about it because of that black hair. I actually need to put in a small amount. It's right here. There we go. Just rounding that out, giving it a little bit of a feel of what's going on here. So. Yeah, yeah. What's bothering me is these guys. You may be wondering, why is that bothering me? Well, the shape of her eye is going this way upward. And what I'm getting out of this is these eyebrows are set this way, but the face is set to an angle going this way. So since the face is going this way in an angle, I need the eyes to follow sort of this arc that's going around in the face. Right. There we go. Now all we have to do is just get the bottom of our jawline. And this will probably be backlit as well, which is what I would do. There's another light that's going to be over here. And then we're going to take just this guy right here and go all the way down into this brown. And then we'll come back in a minute and fix this. You know what sucks about long-term phone calls like that one? Means that I couldn't go get coffee while I was waiting because I was too busy talking. So sorry about that. It took some time to get through that phone call. Just going through here and we're, hey Ken, how are you doing today? Use a sharper pen for this light because this light that's hitting on the back of her chin right here is sharper. It's going to be put a lot closer to her face, and it's probably not going to have a diffuser on it. When you put a diffuser on light, the spill from the light is a lot more rounded and soft. When it doesn't have a diffuser, it's super direct and it's got an absolutely sharp line. So we like using diffusers for that purpose. Now, part of this, of course, is that we're going to have to accept the fact that her hair is going to cause a shadow. So we're going to have to go through here and do this. Kind of go out here like so and just put in a mimic of her hair here. I'm going to soften it in, but only because I really kind of want this to be not as blatantly obvious, but just, enough that it's there. You have the feel of it. And like I said, we don't have to work too hard on this. And that gives the impression that her hair is actually deflecting off of the skin somewhere along the line. Now, all of the tones that are in her face are red tones, and this is a blue tone. So we're going to have some problems with that. So I'm going to kind of try to blend in a little bit more of this shade and just draw it all the way back. And that gives us this red tone, which will match the rest of that skin. The problem is that the red tones stand out a lot more. They fit a lot better. They also stand out a lot more. So I'm just going to just blend this in up here. Just blending this in. There we go. Now what I'm going to do is go up here. We're going to get that black color again. I'm going to come up here. We're just going to come around like so. We're just going to make the whole top part here black because it doesn't really matter. Because we're going to do what's called vignetting for this. And the vignetting will cover a lot of this. So I'm just making sure that I have some loose hairs to make it look authentic. Her hair is very thick. So I'm gonna give sort of just some kinds of just a little bit of like this, but it's curly and it's thick, it's black. So notice you will have some loose hairs that will be pretty solid. Okay. Now we're just going to merge these 3 layers together. Now we're cooked together. I really liked the way this picture turned out. So when I put this into the fray out here and put it out to be this way, what I'm going to do instead of getting rid of it in any way is I'm going to vignette it. And the first thing I want to do is make sure it's positioned correctly. There we go. The second thing we're going to do is this. I'm going to take a soft pen and hit in with a pretty big brush right through here, right? Make sure she's make sure we'll do both of these things, right? So here's all of this white. So we're going to go through here, and this is just going to create a vignette. So that allows us to put both of these here. We can do this. And bring it down. Well, the problem is my sea and sky doesn't seem to fit as well now. There we go. See? I get you. Make sure that nothing gets in the way of the titles. No, that'll be fine. Trying to decide whether I want her to be over just a little. Let's see. Thank you. Like, do I want this to be more like here? And I think I do. Nestled between this sort of V shape right here, right? Giving a little bit more of that feel. Pretty sure that's what it was after. There. All right, let's put in some chaos to see how things work here, huh? What chaos is that? That's not the kind of chaos I want. All right. Somebody had okay. Right. Cool. Loves me some good old-fashioned chaos. Nothing like good old-fashioned chaos. Loves me some of that chaos. All right. This is my also chaos Zarathustra. I think that's the wrong kind of chaos. Chaos. Like these kind of cloudy chaoses. inverted chaos. So a bouquet is usually used to evoke a light or a lighting of some sort. I'm using bouquet to give me a very different feel, right? So more like sparkles off the water. And that's giving a very different feel of that picture of her in the background, right? Completely different feel. I want to depend on this layer. That is the right thing to do on a different layer, you know? You're roughing up that dock a little bit, giving it a little bit something there. Those are leaves. And a waffle leaf. Okay, so these are kind of like sparks. Oh, that's blood splatter. Yeah, that's what we want. Now we're talking. And that looks kind of like, I don't know. That's just clouds. Why does it say shift? Oh. That did nothing. Oh, yeah. Oh, hey. Oh, hey. Oh. I see. I have learned a new thing. Behold my new thing. Oh, that's awesome. Will that work for everybody? Oh, yeah. Well. Oh, that's awesome. It's like a vertical line. And this is probably tone of some sort. Yeah, it's with tone. No. This paintbrush is awesome because it does a lot of this kind of, you can do kind of like this. I mean, that's just such a pretty paintbrush. This works really well. star field. It's like edge bubbles. And see, this is the one that I like because it's so chaotic. Look how chaotic that is. So much chaos. Look at all the chaos. And that's just chaotic. Looks like okay, there we go. Right? Lots of chaos. That's throwing sparks. You said that. So what I've been doing today is just playing. I realized that some of these this is snow, which works really well for, snow. Also works really well in my world. It's also chaotic. I like that. I have a number of brushes for just messing with the chaos, just doing chaotic crap. I love doing chaos, right? Like, use this brush out here to chaotically vignette across the side of this here, just to give us some nice, happy chaos. Happy little chaos. Welcome to my stream, where there's always a little bit of happy little chaos. This chaos, though, lends to the painterly feel of this, right? Right, so this cover ends up having a very painterly feel to it, which is what I was kind of looking for whenever I did this. Thing is that he still gets confused and caught up in the background, so we're going to have to do something with him to make him stand out, because he doesn't right now. As it stands, he gets all caught up in the crossbeam of the boat. That makes it a little difficult for us to read it. So we're going to have to go back and fix that at some point. I know that, and I'm aware. And probably what we will do is just exempt him from some of the chaos that's going on in the background. Right? So he's on this layer. If I were to put say, for example, a layer here, which would be, say, black chaos of some sort. Let's go ahead and put in like a black chaos behind him. Which, especially right around here, just makes him kind of stand out a little. So we don't lose him in this. And then we just take this and multiply. Still makes him pop a little bit more. It doesn't do what I want it to do, though. So we'll have to come back and start working with it, which is fine. We've got time. And so we'll go back and keep hacking at this until it's right. I mean, part of it may just be that we need to block this in a lot more and then make it look more like this. I don't know. We may have to work on this. I'll go on ahead and save it, and we'll pull out of this particular picture for the day. I'm pretty pleased with it. It looks pretty cool. It's going places. We may have to work on it some, though. So. All right. And that's where we are for today. I'm going to go ahead and bow out about 2 minutes early, only because I'm kind of hungry. I want lunch. So I'm going to go eat lunch. I'll see you guys all later. As always, remember to keep your eyes on the stars. Bye-bye.